Yo, people, don't make fun of my glasses. I'll whoop ya. They're blue light filters. The lights in this shop kill my eyes. So, gotta use them. Don't laugh. Okay, so today, back on the Ghia build, and we've got the electrical cart out. My favorite stuff. We have got some wiring going on in here. I've installed this little fuse box here. I've got just a mess of stuff going on right now, but I will clean it up, I promise. But you can see I've got kind of my main power feeds that run into the computer, which is sitting back in there. I have the ECU sitting back in here behind the firewall. Currently have my USB scan tool hooked up. You can see that little light right there. There's the ECU. There's the OBD2 port. So this thing's got the brains of a 1999, and we just need to run a little bit more wires. I've got my temporary starter wire. I believe the car's off. Yeah, so it won't fire. So here you go. Just a warning, it likes to shake a little. I know still need to put the I'm gonna put some wishbones in, but here you go. She cranks, baby. And that's with the Volkswagen starter. So up here I've got some wiring that I'm looking to run. This is my sub harness for the components that are up in the front, which are fuel pump, which is living pleasantly down in there. And up here I have the radiator fan, and she is all mounted. We'll talk more about that later. But here we've got our electric radiator fan off of I think a early 2000s Honda Civic, late 90s 2000 Honda Civic, and this is also a Honda Civic radiator. But I'm going to be bringing my sub harness up through what was once down in here one of the vents for the air cooling system that ran through this channel. So I took this guy out, I'm gonna fill it, and then up through here, that hole right there, that's where the harness is gonna rub through. I'm going to insulate that area and close it off so that the firewall is secure. But let's get to it. Let's do some wiring. I'll get my cart over here. You guys can watch me do some fun stuff. Here we have our sub harness. I've left some tail in it. Got about that much so far, about 3.5 feet. I'm gonna stub it through to see how much length I need, and I'm not gonna wrap it all the way because I know somewhere I want to drop my fuel, my wiring for my fuel pump, and then run the rest up to the fans. So let's check it out. Okay, so you guys come down in here. Let's set it like this. And we should be seeing these guys come through this hole right here. What do you think? You see them? There we go. Darn. Okay, there we go. That's about as much tail as I'm gonna want. So, come back here, you can see goes right up and in and through, down to here. Then here's from the engine bay what I got. So, boom, Bob's your aunt, Sam's your uncle. If you come up here, you can see the rest of it. So, I still got a decent amount I'm gonna run. I'm gonna bring it all the way to here and then get rid of the clamshell and then drop the fuel line, the power, the 12-volt supply for the fuel pump down through here, and also put it in clamshell so it's nice and protected. And then just bring these guys, boom, to the fan. One's a ground, the other guy's power. Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. We are going to have this nice beefy relay, and it is going to control the fan. So one of these power wires, one of these is a is a power supply, and then the other one, one is constant power to the fan, and the other one is relay control for the fan. So that all gets connected here and then runs over to that guy. So, I have a pretty fun tool over here. This guy is a tubing straightener. So, on the Ghia build, we've got some lines that we've ran for the fuel. And I also have, I believe, some vacuum lines that I have made with it as well. So I have some 5/16 tubing that came in this roll. It was a 25-foot roll of tubing. And this is just steel coated with anti-corrosion resistant whatever. So but in order to get it from this to this, you got to run it through this guy right here. So just give you a little kind of overview how it works. Pretty cool little thing. Just got it clamped into my vise right here. And so you start like this, and if I were to straighten this stuff by hand, let's see how good I can do. Just using the bench right now to kind of see how straight I can get. So, I mean, I got this, and using the bench, it's decent, but you can see it kind of dog legs a little bit if I get the right background behind it. So run it through here real quick. So you start off and just start clamping it down a little bit. It's got basically no resistance right now. Here it's got some slop to it, but as I come to where that kink is, let me turn this a little. As I come to where the kink is, it kind of drags a little bit, and so you just keep pressing down tighter, and now I'm getting some really good resistance right there. And I start to rotate the whole piece. If you look at the tip, it's bent up right about here. Pull that through over here, bring it back this way, and now I can already, I've got enough slack now where I'm putting a decent bit more pressure on it. Slowly but surely, you start to get a laser straight piece of pipe, which is nice because it's a lot cheaper to buy it in these rolls, and you can get really long lengths, so you can end up going from like the front of a car all the way to the back to do fuel lines, brake lines, what have you, air lines, and Oh man, it's really kinky over there. And come off a little bit. And once it's pretty straight, it'll come in and out pretty good. And there we have it. So there she is now. Look, there's the rest of the coil. So I like this tool a lot. It makes my life very easy, and it makes your work end up looking very professional. Here we got the piece back underneath, and I've got my tubing bender, just a little set of various diameter springs that can fit around the pipe, the tubing, and get yourself some decent little bends without, of course it falls, without kinking the stuff. So here I got my 5/16 spring, and I'll just feed this guy into here. Fits decently around there, and just start giving yourself some bends. You get assistance from the spring to kind of get it where you want. So I'm gonna kind of look at this for a second and then figure out where my bends are gonna start happening. So I believe just give it a nice little bend. There you go. We're back here at the driver rear with the wheel off, and I have the stock throttle cable, as you can see here, and I am actually going to be pulling the cable out of the sheath and running a whole new cable that runs completely from right here, where we've got our Volkswagen accelerator pedal, and it's going to come up through the channel and all the way back and connect up with our Subaru throttle assembly. So first things first, I need to cut this little guy off right here, because we're going to pull it through that way, because there is a little doodad that holds the pedal, the cable onto the pedal, that will not come through the housing this way. See? So we'll start pushing it through that way and get her on the other side. Let's see what we got. Get you guys set up in a good little spot to see this. Climb in here. What's up? So if you can see, here's the little S-curve kind of lock mechanism that sits inside of this pedal assembly right here. So I'm just gonna start pulling this cable through, and just like that, this thing no longer has a throttle cable. So I'm going to go back, bring you guys over here first. So I have some new braided stainless steel cable that will work perfectly for this application, and we're going to run it up through here. I've put a little bit of heat shrink tubing on it to get it to not unfurl as it runs up and through. So let's see, I'll start feeding it here and catch it on the other side. Now this cable is probably about 16 feet long, so I should have more than enough to get this done. I'm just seeing if I can hear it pop out the other side. Well, I feel some kind of different resistance now, so probably out. Let's look. Oh yeah, baby. There she is. So, if you look right about here, we've got it. So, I've got, I don't know if you guys can see it that well, but got that cable right here. So, then I'll move on to making a little apparatus to connect it. So at the actual pedal assembly, the assembly will look a little like this. So we'll have a little mechanism like this, and it will be clamped with cable ferrules at this end right here. And then there will be a dowel that goes on that pedal that this can pivot on nicely, and it will pull like this, and as it rotates it'll also move with the movement of the cable. Now on the throttle side, I have this mechanism right here, and this is a cable stop that has a screw right there, a hole which you can see through right there, and this is replacing the stock Subaru setup, which was just this crimped on cable stop that locks inside of the throttle assembly so that it can pull it. So have this guy the exact same diameter, thankfully, and I will Loctite once I install this on like this. Run this guy in through here. Cable's a little frayed from being cut. Try and get it in here. If I have to, I'll open this hole up just a little bit with a drill, but I don't think it's going to pass through right now, but you guys get the picture. It'll come through there, it'll stick through kind of like that, and then this guy will get Loctited on and hold tension on this so that it does not move. Okay, we are here inside of the car again, and I have a finished product. So right here we got this little guy that I made out of an old valve cover bolt that had this shank on it, and then where my thumb is there used to be threads and a little that little threaded portion at the end. I have cut it and modified it so that it will fit up inside here like so and lock in place. I've also drilled a hole through it right here so that a cotter pin can go through and hold the assembly that I have made right here, and double furled it up so that I can be 100% sure that this is not going to come undone. And then it just clips inside of there like that. And you can see, now I don't have the, I need to put the a couple of washers and the cotter pin in, but this guy will fully move where it needs to. So like I say, just need that cotter pin to hold this assembly, and there you go. That's how you make your own friggin' throttle cable. If I can learn how to talk. So we come out here. I got the fan on right now, so it's gonna get real noisy. This guy now won't come out anymore. So there we go. So here we go, guys. The moment I think a lot of people have been waiting for, especially me. Got our start button, got the ignition turned on up front, and let's see what she does. Oh yeah, baby! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. So it has to prime the first time it fires. because I don't have the starter wire from the computer hooked up to the start solenoid. It doesn't start the car, it just helps the ECU to know when to prime to start the engine up. So once I connect that, we'll be good to go. Like I said, I got some wiring over here that's still temporary, especially that intake line for the idle air control valve. But what do you guys think? Listen to her purr. Now, also keep in mind, I haven't finished my secondary engine mounts that I'm gonna run to help this right here. Engine likes to flop a little. Oh, she is ready, guys. You want to know how I know? Not only because she sounds amazing, but also in neutral. A lot of cars do this, but in neutral she's already itching to go. So let's set this guy up, and I'll slap this other wheel on over here, and let's see where we go. So right now we're inside the car, and I just want to show you some of the things I've got going on in here. So temporarily we have the ECU mounted right here. I think it's gonna live there. I just want to build some isolation dampeners for it and secure the wiring harness a little better. But you can see this is my little ElmScan OBD2 USB tool that hooks up to a laptop or a tablet or a cell phone. And right now you can see all these blinking lights. That's because if you follow it out here, it is currently communicating with my cell phone. And there we have some of our engine values. So for example, I can see my RPMs, vehicle speed, which is not going to be correct because the speed sensor that we have is just there to trick the computer into thinking that it's working right. It's the way everyone does them. They're not reading, it's not giving you your readout for your speedometer here on the dash. That's coming from the actual speedometer cable from the Volkswagen transmission. But we've got our short-term fuel trims, which look great. We can see that the engine is in closed loop, so we know that the oxygen sensor is working correctly. I can see my coolant temperature, which is a big one. I'm actually waiting for this guy to get up to about 195 and see if these coolant fans turn on. I can see my throttle position, mass airflow rate from the mass airflow sensor. That's working good. So pretty good just to know that everything's working. I also used my cooling system pressure tester, connected them here, and had this guy pressurized overnight. And this thing held pressure for at least 9 hours. So we know this cooling system is nice and tight. Come up to the front, I'll show you guys the fan system all finished. That whining noise is because I don't have enough gas in the tank. I've got about a quarter tank, but I need to put more in. So that'll go away once I put some more gas in. But here we have it. After a long, hot, sweaty Saturday, we are here with the Ghia. And she is running. Check this out. Purrs like a kitten. So, I'm gonna do some fancy tape work and see if I can't get you guys hooked up to the antenna. And if my GoPro won't grow legs, maybe we can go for a fun ride. Speed bump right here, gotta be careful with. Brakes don't work. I am in the middle of the road trying to get this thing. Tricky car to put in reverse. On the passenger front. Your second. And we're going back on to our road. See if you can see the horse on the left. Over here. She should be right over here. You see her. That horse was in the Eagle Rodeo the other day. Well, I either died or ran out of gas. I hope it was ran out of gas. Or stalled. Ruh-roh, Reggie. Uh-oh. What happened? Let's see, did she fire? Duh, stalled it. I shifted into fourth instead of first. That's what happens when you've never driven an air-cooled Volkswagen. But like I said, there's the neighbor's horse. Bye. So, what do you guys think? I'm pretty dang excited. I think Mike and Paul are gonna be pretty excited too. Now we just gotta do the brakes, the suspension, the easy stuff, and then the body work. And thankfully I've got Manny and my dad, and we'll be able to rip through this thing pretty quick. And I'm hoping to have this thing to them by no later than kind of mid-August. We're here underneath the Ghia, And I just wanted to show you guys, this is after the test drive, so these pipes are nice and toasty warm. But these are the coolant lines that we finally ran, and the return fuel line. So it's not completely finalized. This is gonna get routed a little better, but this works for now. Here's that return fuel line, the hard line that I bent up that we saw some videos of right there. And then here's our coolant lines, and we rebent them so that they're not so gnarly looking. They follow these and tuck right up into here. So up here there will be a skid plate that covers this whole section. It's honestly never going to get whacked, but I just want to have peace of mind for myself and for the owners. But there are the coolant lines. I'm pretty pleased with them. I'm not embarrassed to show them to you. The fuel line, I need to strap it in a couple more spots, and then it'll clean up a little better. When we replace the floor pan, when we replace this section of floor pan, we are going to undercoat the whole thing, so it'll be nice and all uniform in one color. But there you go. It goes up, comes to here. Temporary, people. Don't holler at me about it. I know it functions, it holds pressure for now. And then on this side it comes up and kicks, and this is a Honda hose that we just double strapped and comes up here and then goes to our kind of our radiator filler neck that's up there. That gives us our high point so that we can fill it and get all the air pockets out. But my old this was off my parts car. These headers, I bought these for like 67 bucks or something off eBay. Unequal length headers. That's what gives it that cool turbo Subaru sound. They have these unequal length headers that give it that uneven exhaust note, that makes it just sound like a beast. So there you have it. The throttle cable that goes back into there, and we're set, guys. Now I just need to figure out why this brake is dragging, because if you check on this side, it's not. This one's stuck. So I'm replacing them anyways. So that's where we're at with the Ghia build. I'm really excited, guys. It's hot. I'm sweaty. I've been getting eaten alive by these freaking flies, and I'm ready to go home. But excited to have you guys see this, especially Mike and Paula, and show you guys my next personal project. I replaced my XJ. Got a 95 XJ crawler that's got a 6-inch lift on it already, long arm. So I'll keep you guys posted for this thing. It needs some love, but I'm gonna get her nice and straightened up, and we're gonna have some fun. So, and it already had the door mods, so I didn't have to do it. So I can run my my XJ crawler doorless. So, and best thing of all, it's a 2-door, and the 2 doors are the same length as the 4 doors, just the 4-door door ends like right here, and then you get the second door. Honestly, it'd probably be better with kids, but I like it. I'm excited. Excited to show you guys. Peace out, guys.